So one last detail that I want to show is what happens when changes are made to CMake lists.txt. If I were to remove project 2, take it back to the original stage where we want to compile only project 1. Every time I say Ctrl S to save the file, VSCode will automatically run CMake configure, and if you go to this tab, you see only project 1 exists. There might be cases where you make this change in the terminal, so you might open CMake from the terminal and let's take it back to the original state. And here, though I'm saving the file, VSCode does not detect this change in the CMake lists.txt, so you'll have to manually say configure all projects. This is the same as saying Ctrl+Shift+P and then running configure. Both of them are equivalent, and now you have both these projects. As a final note, I want to get rid of this top level CMake and show you what happens when that is done, because now VSCode will not be able to find the top level CMake, and it needs to find the independent CMakes of these projects and compile these projects just based on the independent CMake lists file. So let's do that, and let's get rid of, so let's copy this, let's get rid of this folder altogether. So I delete that, over to trash, and then over here I'm going to paste the common portion of the CMake file. So let's call this project 1 testcpp1, and then for project 2 we're going to do the same thing, paste the common portion and call this cpp2 project 2. So once I make this change, let's go here and configure all, and you see that the VSCode button, the CMake button is just gone. It just disappears, and now it's not able to find the original CMake, top level CMake file, and so it doesn't really know how to proceed with this, with compiling this cpp_proj folder, in which case if I say load or locate, it will only let me choose one of the two CMakes. So I can either compile project 1 or project 2, so we won't be able to compile both of them at once. So if you wanted to maintain both of these projects separately and then compile them separately while having them in two different folders, VSCode cannot handle that without having a top level CMake. The only way it can handle it is if you have a top level CMake and that links to each of the underlying projects. But if you wanted to retain two completely independent projects, you'll either have to open only one of the projects in this folder. So I would have to open cpp_proj1, open this, and then Ctrl+Shift+P, configure unspecified, and this will allow it to build just project 1, and I could do a similar thing for project 2, or instead a simpler way would just be to use terminal, go into project 1, or go into project 1. This is the build folder that VSCode created. We could create something else called _build, and in _build we could just do CMake ... and make, and from here you can run project 1, or you can go to the other project Here you see that the build folder doesn't exist because VSCode did not try to build this project. So I'm going to make my own build folder, and same way I could just build it independently and then run it separately. So if you wanted to build multiple projects at once, you require a top level CMake file for Visual Studio, but you can always compile them independently from terminal or independently opening these specific folders. So basically closing the large folder which contained both of these projects and then opening only one of them independently and then compiling them from there on. I've uploaded all of this code on GitHub, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. Thank you.